Praise God. It is the second Monday of October, 10th of October, with the Lord above, in mind, in spirit, in heart, and soul. We're going to delve into day 2 of my book before we head into UK provocations. What lies ahead of Proclamation news and Gatherence with the Prodigious, the prominent Professor Johnson. Also, within mind, within thought, please subscribe, share. Let's build actually a bigger audience with this broadsheet tabloid journal type, emphasizing habilitations across the United Kingdom. Anyway, a fool on day 2. Genesis 3:1b. Did God really say you must not eat from any tree in the garden? As soon as you trust people to do the right thing, it is almost inevitable that someone will make the wrong choice and then blame everyone else. Otherwise, it would be their faith. This is what happened as soon as God created mankind with free will to choose. Our ancient ancestors were given just one prohibition, but Oscar Wilde famously said, "I can resist anything but temptation." Actually, it wasn't really temptation that was the issue. It was mankind being confident that they knew better than God. The fall didn't take God by surprise. Notice that what happened is described as the fall, not the stumble, not the hesitation, not the mistake. When you fall, you almost need help from someone else to help you back on your feet. You can often cope with a stumble, hesitation, or mistake through making an extra effort yourself, but the fall is serious and potentially fatal. This fall is the action that confirmed God's plan of salvation was absolutely necessary. We have God who took a risk by giving us free will, but provided the ultimate backup plan for when we admit we need him. It is very clear that our fall saddened God, but being the supreme being that he is, God already had a rescue plan in his hand. The plan is called Jesus and is available to all. We all turn to Jesus for righteousness, for a guide in the right direction, for in mind, in spirit, with heart and soul. If you give him everything, you'll not be a bad community standard of humanity. Absolutely. You all have your flaws, but it's time to make change. Make change. I always say this: make change. You got a vision, you got aspirations, and work for them. Absolutely. You want to change the direction with your lifestyle. Maybe you was a market society, a human dog's body, and you want to make change to make your life a bit more simple, a bit more explanatory to help you support your family's needs. Absolutely. Make that change. There's adult learning courses. Let me tell you, we're crying out for medical staff, in doctors, in hospitals. You know, even us adults listening, us adults listening. Pursue a career for your younger generation, your kids, your kids. I don't think any of you are that old, but you know what I mean. Even your nieces, your nephews, the youth of today. We need more medical staff in the UK. That's in the media at the moment. People, I speak to my local community at the church, and they're having hard trouble getting medical treatment. Everything's put back. Anyone that's waiting for any hip operations, heart operations, lung, kidney operations, everything's been put back in hospitals as well as in courts. Is there anyone waiting a court trial for something, maybe a divorce settlement or parent alienation? Everything's been put back. So, we need more health professionals in the court as well. Absolutely. Keep your children within the guidelines of God. Stick by the Nature of law first. The nature of law first. Absolutely. Thank you all for tuning in. If you don't mind sharing on your Twitter, even your if you've got a WhatsApp group, try and help me build Proclamation News and Gatherence. I just want to say thank you to all the listeners, one by one. Matt Bullock, Melody Johnson, Christian Holly, Brianna Bound, Thomas P. O'Brien, Matt Bullock, Michael Furquin, Ashley, Ruth, Calvin, Monkey D, Chino Reno, Eric Vines, Marcus Rawlins Martin, Karen Carter Bolden. I don't usually thank everyone in the audience for coming along, listening. We've got gas and energy prices going up in price, and shopping, food as well. Food consumption. I don't know if it's going to be taxes on the food going up. I'm not quite sure. We're going to read into it shortly. First of all, we're going to go into emergency talks over gas on Proclamation News and Gatherence. Emergency talks over gas price crisis continue. Talks between industry and business secretary Kwasi Kwarteng will continue on Monday over an energy crisis that bosses warn could close some factories. Sectors such as ceramics, paper and steel manufacturing have called for a price cap, but talks with the government on Friday failed to reach a solution. But the Treasury has denied being in detailed talks with Mr. Kwarteng about how to ease the soaring gas prices. David Dalton, Chief Executive of British Gas, called that very alarming. He was part of Friday's talks with Mr. Kwarteng, but told BBC the meeting was very much an introductory one. We did not get specifics. Mr. Dalton said he had hoped that the government would have made progress over the weekend, but that appears not to have happened. We need immediate action, he said. But with that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, let me say here, with this in mind and with your £80 crisis benefit cut, it's going to be a major soaring disaster through the whole of the UK. What are we going to do? What are you going to do? Who's going to help you pay your bills? Everyone's going to be soaring more and more in debt. The inequalities are going to be falling more and more into jeopardy. Absolutely. We need a life crisis to help the vulnerability throughout the dominion of the UK, especially ones that are still doing, they're still doing philanthropist work. They're not getting paid, but they're doing all the hours they can under the sun to get the help they need. Even such as small businesses, I could be classed as a small business, Proclamation News and Gatherence, but not actually getting funded. Although I'm doing a grand job, I'm getting quite a few listeners and people enjoying my show. It's a shame to see people that are trying to put a big effort in crumble. They say this helps small business reach their potential. We have not seen it. I've been going for 3 years. Trade group UK Steel told the BBC that Boris Johnson needed to take control before it was too late, although it described as a really good news. An announcement that the country's third largest steelmaker, Liberty Steel, would restart operation at its plant in Rotherham later this month. The United Union also called on the Prime Minister to get a grip to avert job losses if companies have to shut production because they cannot cope with the increased cost of energy. However, Conservative MP Mark Harper said the government should resist demands for financial support. On Sunday, Mr. Kwarteng told the BBC Andrew Marr programme that the situation was critical and said he was looking to find a solution. We already have existing support that we are looking to see whether that's sufficient to get us through this situation, he said. However, a Treasury source said the business secretary had been mistaken to say that he had been working on possible support measures with the Chancellor, Rishi Sunak. Boris Johnson, as we know, is in Marbella at the moment. The critical people in the media are putting him down. The Prime Minister is human. We all want to get away as and when we can as a family. He's gone away with his wife and children. He's allowed a break. So we can't sit there being critical in the media. Absolutely not. I'm defending a Prime Minister because he wouldn't be the Prime Minister otherwise, would he, without a vote in. That's a shame with the emergency energy prices soaring. If they might have to make amendments in your universal credit. A lot of people rely on universal credit, especially mothers, single mothers with children that get them to school. I'm a university student, although I do many hours under the sun, supporting mental health and also doing my radio station. Might be some form of supporting mental health as well. People like listening to see what's going on around the world. Listen to a life crisis can, might help you out in a situation for the near future to get ready for what's lying ahead. Anyway, we're going to look at the road incidents, but I'm going to give my commandments of entering the road. Do not enter a vehicle under sleep deprivation, under the influence of alcoholism or narcotics. Check your engine oil, water, coolant tank. Make sure they're topped up to maximum level. Make sure your vehicle is insured, taxed, and you have a driving license. Sounds silly, doesn't it? But we have to influence our youngsters of today. Checking your centre mirror and wing mirror before turning, acting into a safe, sufficient directional choice. Making sure motorcyclists are not overtaking or pedestrians crossing the road. Sounds strange, but you never know if you're reversing or whatever. Also, make sure you've got seatbelts, and babies have seatbelts adjacent to the car seat before takeoff. Anyway, let's look into the incidents on the UK roads. Make sure you check out for police, further police signs, further police road actions. They might be telling you to slow down or pull over if your car looks like it's not past its MOT, perhaps blowing out loads of smoke. If they tell you to pull over, pull over. Look out for further road works, further road signs. Just do the obvious. We're going to look at the incidents today. In my constituency of Essex, we have Colchester. Oh my goodness. In Colchester, this is a fatal accident at 5 o'clock this morning on the A12. Road closed. Road over truck recovery work. Queuing traffic congestion 2. Road closed. Queuing traffic due to rolled over truck and recovery work on A12 northbound between junction 26, A1124, 8 Ash Green, tailgate interchange, and the A12 junction 27, A113, Spring Lane Avenue of Remembrance Roundabout, congestion to junction 25, Marks Day. Wow, that could be a serious incident. Just bear with me 2 seconds. Because after this road incident, we're going to have about a 5-minute short break, and we're going to get back to the UK politics. 2 seconds. Bear with me. Literally like 2 seconds. Not going anywhere. That'll do. Let's go back to it. Okay. Just off Colchester, A120, queuing traffic on A120 westbound from A13 Marks Farm roundabout to B1018 Gallish Corner. The travel time is 10 minutes towards Stansted. Reported at 5:50 a.m. today. Moving a bit more towards London, we're going to go Chelmsford. A114 Baddow bypass, queuing traffic on A114 Baddow bypass westbound at A1060 Parkway Army and Navy. This is reported at 10 to 7 this morning. We're going to go north east of London. M11 queuing traffic at the south on M11 southbound from junction 27, M11 to junction 4, A406 North Circular. Look in Greater London, we have an incident at Watford. M25 queuing traffic on M25 anti-clockwise between junction 218 A405 North Orbital Road, St Albans, and junction 19 Watford. 5 minutes past 6 reported today. But it's getting a bit near closer to the central. St Mary's Road, partial block, stalled traffic, Clopenwell. A stalled bus on St Mary's Road, southbound before A2214. Evelina Road, traffic is Clopenwell. 6 minutes past 6. I'm gonna do one more for luck. We're gonna go in Oxford. A40, queue and traffic heavier than normal. Queue and traffic heavier than normal on A40 Northway into before A4142 Eastern Bypass Road, Headington Roundabout. It was reported at 20 to 7. Right, ladies and gents, we're gonna have a short amid break. It's not gonna be long. We're gonna 12 questions. This is over a year ago. I'm listening to it. It's only just a quick break while I get ready.
Hey Boris, you alright?
I'm good, how are you?
What's been on your mind today?
Well, I can't hide it from you. I've been thinking a bit about this general election campaign.
How do you typically start your day?
I tend to get up pretty early and then I go down and take the dog for a walk, and dog does his business and so on and so forth. That's my start to the day.
And what's the most surprising thing you found about being PM?
I was pretty incredulous the other day when I found out I couldn't actually get a Thai curry to deliver to number 10 because of the security problems. The security there was too tight.
And on that subject, fish and chips or a Sunday roast?
I think fish and chips on a cold night on the beach, you can't beat.
Why are we having this election?
We're having this election because basically the whole political system is paralyzed, and we had a fantastic Brexit deal that we did. Nobody said we could do it, but we did. And then Parliament refused to knock it through, so that we're stuck in the EU when the people voted to leave. So we need to have an election.
This one divides opinion, but Marmite, yes or no?
Marmite, yes.
What do you think are the biggest challenges facing our country?
Look, this is an amazing country. It's going gangbusters in so many ways. We lead the world in so many technologies, but our political system is blocked at the moment, and that's the thing that we need to address. We need to get a new government, a new majority government, and I hope a conservative government, and move this thing on.
Now, I know you're a very busy man, but when was the last time you cooked, and what did you make?
How are you? The last time I cooked was last night, and I made steak and oven chips, which were very good.
What's your favourite band?
Look, this is either the Clash or it's the Rolling Stones, and mainly I listen to the Rolling Stones nowadays. So you can make of that what you will.
What would you say to someone who's wondering who to vote for at this election?
I would say it is a very, very simple choice. You can either go with Jeremy Corbyn and the Labour Party and be in no doubt that if you vote for any other of the minor parties, you will end up with a coalition of chaos with Jeremy Corbyn at the lead, at the head. And that will not only be an economic catastrophe for this country, it will also be a political disaster, because their programme, would you believe it, is for another Brexit referendum, next year, spend the whole of the next year in a referendum on Brexit, a referendum on Scotland, to say nothing of the economic catastrophe involved in a Corbyn-led socialist, semi-Marxist Labour government. Or you can go with us, get Brexit done with our deal, which is ready to go, oven ready, slam it in the microwave, it's there. Get it done in days, and take the country forward. We're investing massively in the NHS, the biggest investment for a generation, massively in schools, in policing, 20,000 police we're putting out on the streets of this country. We're going to be doing a huge infrastructure revolution for the whole of the UK, gigabit broadband across the whole of the UK. And we can pay for all that because we're the party that understands the importance of a dynamic market economy. So that's my message. Vote for us. Vote for a compassionate, one nation, conservative government that understands the symmetry between a free market economy and great public services. Let's get Brexit done and unleash the potential of this whole country. See you later.
That dude from the break from Boris there just broke up the show, helping us move forward. I was just sharing a car instance on Twitter, obviously trying to divide the show up and also get the message across the whole spectrum of Twitter and social media. That's why I have little periods of a little break, a couple of minutes, and then moving on. So periods and low confidence put some girls off sport. I'm all for supporting feminists in professionalism in the industry of the sports world. They're underpaid, underrated, and things like this. It's all due to their life chances. It becomes part of the inequality towards men, doesn't it? It's not their fault they have periods. It's not their fault they can carry babies. It's just part of the sexual. We call it a sexual race. There you go. Periods, low confidence, and being watched by other people are factors preventing about a third of girls in England enjoying sport, a report says. Data from the Youth Sport Trust shows over the last 3 years, periods have become the biggest concerns for girls when doing PE in school. A total of 37% said periods stopped them from getting active in school last year, up from 27% in 2018 to 19. The charity is campaigning to give girls a greater say in PE in schools. The charity's Girls Active programme empowers girls in schools to help each other and support teachers to remove barriers. We want to understand further from girls what would make a positive difference to them during the periods so they have that physical activity is a space that sport supports and helps them, says Wendy Taylor, who runs the programme. At school, I mean, I'm thinking back, girls in my year, I couldn't even think. So it shows how much us fellas pay attention. So the females at school should not worry. People are not. It's all their, blokes are watching women in sport and athletics. I mean, athletics, I was a big part of the athletic team. I can't remember any girls in my year. And I don't think many guys would be looking for that anyway. And not that age anyway. Not on that age. It shouldn't be that, shouldn't be that fixated on checking out women in that area at that age. I shouldn't think. But each to their own. I know some develop their elder activities at a younger age, but I was 18, may I say, so I wouldn't even noticed around that sort of age. The charity asked 27,867 school-aged girls in England about their biggest concerns about participating in PE and sport. 37% said their periods stopped them from getting active in school. 27% in 2018 to 19. 33% said they were not competent to get active in school. 30% in 2018 to 19. 33% said other people watching them take part put them off. 27% in 2018 to 19. A bit too exposed. Isabella, Abby, Julia and Sky help girls embrace sport at the school in Kent. At Herne Bay High School in Kent, 28 pupils from different year groups have created a magazine called Sweatbands and Fake Tans to deal with the taboos and concerns some girls have. Sky, age 16, said they are advising young pupils with issues such as periods and low body confidence to make video suggestions on the best gym clothes and sports bras. She says she's always struggled with body confidence, but that experience helped her to have a positive influence on other girls. I think that it's not feeling comfortable in your own body and feeling you're not good enough compared with everyone else. I feel the media has not really helped, she said. I mean, I'm not a girl, but you get your monthly cycle. Obviously, at that age, you're just going through life cycle, aren't you? You're going through life cycle. You don't know when it's going to happen. It's the first one's going to be embarrassing because you're worried that everyone's going to see it. You're not prepared for your life cycle to happen at that age. I'm saying from a man's perspective, it doesn't sound right, does it? I don't know what the female cycles are. I know it's monthly, and so what? I'll be honest. I think I was in a 15-year relationship, and my my ex-wife, and I can't remember actually having periods, but she used to take these tablets to stop her having periods. But my previous ex-girlfriend had them, and the mood swings. Oh my goodness, I never experienced it for a long time, being with a lady who had this life cycle. But to be a female, to have this life cycle at a young age, when you have your first ever one, you don't know when it's going to happen. You don't know when it's just going to come on. So you can see why these young girls have to struggle through sporting activity. Here we go. Anyway, Sky says she's lucky as her teacher helped her to embrace her periods, but admits obviously just getting change is an issue. Sometimes you just feel so awful and you just don't want to do it, even if it's something you really look forward to, like netball or basketball. You know, for a young adult, it's a bit bizarre to talk about your, you know, as we get adults, we think we just speak how it is. We've got no bars, no barriers barred. You know, you just say what you think. But at that young age, it's got to be. I'm quite a shy person anyway. I'm a very shy person, but at a young age to come out of that in front of all kids, or even to teach to your tutor one-to-one, is quite embarrassing. But I feel you just have to push through because you'll feel better in the end. She knows many girls feel uncomfortable with certain types of skimpy PE clothes. You just feel a bit too exposed. I feel like sometimes you just want to put on some baggy joggers or some leggings just to so you feel more comfortable. Abby loves to do sport now, but she used to feel she wasn't good enough. She says at age 14, you just feel like being, because everyone is watching you, that everything you do is going to be noticed. Whereas that's not actually how it is. It isn't how it is. People just want you to push through and do well. In contrast to girls, she says, I think boys often come across a bit more confident, whereas the girls, if you feel underconfident, then you're automatically going to hold back. Like Sky, Abby believes the media has affected how girls think. As we know, it's the same in boys. A lot of boys have low confidence. You have your certain select boys that will absolutely excel in sport, and you have your certain select girls that absolutely excel in different sports as well. You have your netball and hockey. Try and get a bloke to play netball after being playing basketball is a total different ball game, believe me. She says when you see people on Love Island and models, you think maybe I should have to be like that. It puts such a negative on you to think, do I have to look like that, or can I just be me? Isabella says she also used to struggle with her confidence, but believes sport has helped her to overcome it, and is passionate about helping other girls through sport. She says, I want to do my part and prove that being active can be fun and help overcome barriers. Over the years, it has taught me various lessons that I will pass on to others we meet over the next couple of years at school. I mean, I will say I'm in the main constituency of Essex, which soon is going to turn to a city. I want to influence the young people in this area. Sport is a very, very good mechanism to help you quick think. Just a small exercise. As you get older, you get to my age, even if you're doing 10, 20 minutes a day is enough. But, you know, when I say 10, 20 minutes of quite a hard exercise, sit-ups, push-ups, squats, all, you know, just them small exercises for 10, 20 minutes a day, that is enough. If you do it 6 days a week, 7 days a week. Same as me with reading I come on live every day. I've got a thing, O2 replay to read. It's got 30 days of prayer, and that's what I'm going to be doing every day. I'll do things methodically, and I'm going to do that for the next, all the rest of this, till middle of, what's the month day today, 11th. So, yeah, about middle of next month, middle of November, I'll have been finished that, and I'll be on here every morning about the same time. My alarm goes off at 7 o'clock every morning, so I'll come on, get back to my uni study, and I'm trying to run for councillor of my constituent as well. That's why I want to influence young youthful today. I want to influence them into sporting activity because it's good for their education, but not too much. Everything in moderation. Also, I'd like to influence, like things like we need medical staff, we need police officers, we need these kids, we need their kids to do good by their parents and good by themselves, become into a profession, absolutely. Provide young adults with different organisations, things like the council one, Peabody, Shore Trust Group, to help you move up the ladder in maybe something in business. You want to work in computer or computer science, anything. But they've got organisations. If you fail at school later on in your life, you can fall back and get your adult, your adult learning. Why not start? Why not start now? It's never too late. I was a complete activist. Athleticism, absolute phenomenal from a young age. Obviously, I didn't make professional football. It's a bit harder to get in football in this area than it is boxing. Boxing was pretty easy for me to get in as a professional. I just pushed it and done it. I knew I was fit enough, but despite my head injury, I was up against all the odds. I've pulled out of boxing and I've got post concussion syndrome. Anyway, moving forward. Basden taxi driver knocked out by man she was trying to save. She was badly attacked and still has scars. Miss Linda Wilson with Chief Constable Ben Julian, Hampton CTT, commendations at Chelmsford Police Headquarters. Taxi driver who was knocked unconscious by a man she was trying to save has been commended for her courage and bravery. Linda Wilson, a cabbie from Basden, was working one night in December 2018 when she saw a vehicle stopped in the middle of the dual carriageway at 3:15 a.m. The driver was slumped over the wheel, and both he and the female passenger were clearly drunk. Lydia bravely reached inside the car and removed the keys, but the man behind the wheel became aggressive and subjected Linda to a brutal attack, knocking her unconscious. Linda said her attacker went mad and used my head as a football. She added, "I can't remember him saying, 'Give me my car keys.' I said, 'No. If I give you the car keys, you'll kill someone,' he said. 'If you don't give me the car keys, I'm going to kill you.' He said he'd give me a count of 3. I remember saying 1. The next thing I knew, I was on the floor. I was left in the middle of the road. I couldn't move. I was trying to get to the curb. He got back to his car and he was laughing and revving the engine. I thought he was going to run me over, but he didn't, and he took off. Lydia's hip was broke in the attack, and she had to have a full hip replacement. She still has a scar on her head from where the attacker stamped on her. The information she provided to officers directly led to the suspect being apprehended 2 hours later. He received a substantial prison sentence. The stories like this make my heart melt. When I was 18, I've got pretty much the same, trauma. 15 blokes beat me to the ground, stamped on my head, hit me with a bottle in the mouth. Busted nose. I don't know. God knows what hit me across the nose. It looked like it hit me with a hammer. My nose was taken clean off my face. But it's just sad why people with such a psychomotor state want to do something like this. The lady was just trying to help. Despite her injuries, Linda has no regrets about intervening. She said people who drive after drinking and are taking drugs aren't always the ones that end up getting hurt. It's other people. My kids would say I'm foolish, but you don't think about that at the time. Looking back, I'd do it again. That's a good, courageous woman to do such a thing, that to make her kids think, I'm not going to do that mistake. My mum has put her own life on the line. So I hope she gets the recovery that she deserves, the respect for putting her own life on the line. Absolutely. Linda was awarded for a commendation by Chief Constable Ben Julian Hampton at a ceremony at Essex Police Headquarters. I will say this, like people getting involved in these things, like I always say, if you see people being a town rat in town, drinking on a park bench, and you as a man or a woman go up to them, tell them to get out of the town city centre. Make sure you're going to get people. If you're going to do it, you need to be don't need to be aggressive, but you need to be able to hold your own if someone does attack, if you know what I mean. without striking them. Maybe take them to the floor without striking them. Like not using level 2 force, but you know what I mean? Level 2 force as a restraining kind of level 2 force, not striking someone, which happens quite often. Essex head teacher fell back on his work after wife's tragic death. He's now organised a national virtual parliament for young people. Peter spent a lane with his wife Kathy, who sadly died in 2013. Peter said he fell onto his work to get him through the grief. An Essex head teacher fell back on his work to get through the tragic loss of his wife and has never let it get in the way of his career. Peter Spencer Lane has been the head of St Pierre School in Leigh since March 2019. With a capacity of 150 pupils from ages 2 to 11, is a far smaller school than he used to. As a 64-year-old, has been back and forth across the Atlantic pond over the last decade, heading up schools in Florida, USA. In 2013, Mr. Spencer Lane was working in Florida. His wife, Kathy, aged 62 at the time, died after the battle with her heart. He said she's ongoing issues and died in 2013. I was living in Florida. She had an ongoing illness, problems with her heart. It got really bad and she had to get on into the hospital, and a month later, unfortunately, she didn't make it. She was lovely, worked at the same school and had a very close life together, and she was a very caring person with whom you sort of form a life. I never expected it to end that suddenly. We've been in and out of the UK. We were in America immediately before this, but 4 years before we were in Kent. It was long before my wife died and I come back and took the job in Kent. He says he's always positive. That time I didn't have a normal life, family distraction that a career person might have. I dedicated myself to what I was doing. It was something I look back on the impact of my career in a genuine way. In these circumstances, you fall back on work as something to get through the sad times. It's something that always has been there. Mr. Spencer Lane has 2 daughters, 30 years and 28 years. One is a doctor in Yorkshire and the other is a jewellery designer. He was president of 2 schools in USA, Windermere Preparatory School and Lake Mary Preparatory School in Orlando for 3 years. The schools were tough schools, covering 2 to age 18 group. Mr. Spencer is now heading up the Children's Virtual Parliament ahead of 2021 United Nations Climate Change Conference, COP27, due to begin at the end of the month. He claims to get children discussing issues as climate change to make them as politically as astute as possible and ensure their voices are heard on crucial issues. It's nice to get kids young in a debate over global climate, you know, because they're growing up. They're going to be growing up to adults. And they're going to want to bring kids into this world, make them think twice, wouldn't it, hopefully. In terms of the idea for Virtual Children Parliament, he said the idea came from Wakelet, a digital platform for teachers and students to share and organise learning content online. Mr. Spencer Lane said, I knew something very interesting was happening here. When I spoke to them, I knew there was a way to link the nation. I think security is very important in this internet-driven world, particularly amongst young people. Many organisations are criticising social media for being bad for children, yet it remains a fact of life. In this world where social media has a very negative reputation, a forum where children can interact safely is hugely attractive from schools. I think schools across Britain are increasingly talking about the school council election process seriously. A lot of the increased interest is tied into the environment. Children are feeling they can impact things by making everyday changes. They see politics as a valid medium for change. They never had a cause quite like this before. Every child in my school is passionate about climate change. It is in their soul and irrevocable priority. There you go. It's good to influence children in a form of politics. I've done media studies, so that is my platform to get into the mainstream media, tabloids and broadsheet articles. Absolutely. From 1996, I left my high school, and with that in mind and that in thought, that was always my plan A. But I was needed in athleticism too much, so that overtook as a priority need. Overtook as priority need. Yeah, my destiny was at that time was to end up in the sporting world, but I'm back with plan A and I'm enjoying it. I'd sometimes do an hour show. I've got to go to a local constabulary to see what's going on in my community. I like to get fresh, updated news. I'm going to take a book and a pen, see what's going on, and maybe we could talk about it in future shows. I'm not quite sure what I'm allowed to speak about from the local judiciary. It's the first time I've attended this one. I used to go to Hertfordshire Constabulary most days just to get some fresh news. It's nice to get different news. I must take my I might go on a train journey and just listen to conversations throughout the day and see if I can bring them into the cast box. Bring the conversation I've heard. People just talking about their general day-to-day regime. You hear conversations, don't you? And it might be hopefully nothing too drastic, like a big drug deal going on. It's not a sort of interest I want to get involved in. It's a bit dangerous, but I like to hear people's conversations, like, could be young adults saying about the university, we're going to university today, we're going to do this subject, or it could be teachers, workers, anything. You listen to the different kind of conversations people have on a day-to-day. It's interesting, isn't it? Could make a book out of conversations of people on a train. Imagine that. That could be like a best-selling book. The conversations of people on a train. Anyway, Essex mum hit rock bottom. Over 10k bill to replace unsafe Grenfell-style flat cladding on Chelmsford Flat. She said hit rock bottom over the stress. Actually, let me rephrase myself before we move on. If the people knew I was recording them, I'd get in a lot of trouble. But obviously, you do it discreetly and then bring the book out later in life. You couldn't get done for that, could I? People wouldn't know what the book was even about. Well, they would, but they wouldn't know the specific people who it was about, because I wouldn't put it in there. I ain't gonna know the names of the people chatting. I'll just say the train conversation. Call it that or something. Great ideas for people if you want to make your first book. Sophie Grayling and her autistic son, Reuben, 4, who are victims of the cladding scandal outside their flat in Chelmsford, Essex. An Essex mum hit rock bottom over a £10,000 bill to replace Grenfell-style cladding in her flat and had to seek help for her GP due to stress over the incident. Sophie Grayling lives in a shared ownership flat on the Marcioni estate in Chelmsford, Essex, and as one of 3 million owners of fire risk flats, which need to be made safe following the Grenfell Tower disaster in 2017. Campaigners fighting for justice for these owners claim there have been at least 3 suicides linked to the scandal during the past 18 months. More than 4 years on, the Grenfell Tower fire in Kensington, North Kensington, West London, they killed 72 inhabitants. Up to 3 million people are still living in fire risk flats. Many face crippling repair bills, in some cases working out at a more than $200,000 per household. Hundreds of cladding scandal flats owners have sought support for severe anxiety and depression. Sophie, 28, sought help from her GP after hitting rock bottom over her cladding flat. Her doctor was so worried about the mum of one, he wrote to MP Tory Minister Vicky Ford. To express his concern, he said Sophie is utterly desperate. She cannot remortgage, she cannot sell, she cannot marry her fiance for fear of dragging him into bankruptcy. Ah, poor lady. With developers, freeholders and the government squabbling over who should pay to make homes safe, innocent leaseholders face having to pick up the bill. Those affected are already having to cough up more than $2 billion a year to cover insurance hikes and fire marshal patrols. In February this year, the Conservatives made a promise to fully fund the replacement of unsafe cladding on all buildings over 18 metres high. but the £5 billion Building Safety Fund does not cover non-cladding fire safety issues, and cross-party MPs estimate 3 times the amount could be needed. Thousands of leaseholders are still desperately waiting for answers more than a year after sending the applications. Sophie works in the finance industry, lives in a flat with son Ruben, 4, and faces estimated bills at least £10,000. She said the penny dropped in January about how bleak and overwhelming everything is. It was not only the financial implication, it was the thought that I was living in an unsafe home with my son. I had worked so hard to provide for him, and I felt like a failure. For weeks I lay in bed and either slept or cried. I was completely paralysed by depression. That's when I reached out to my GP. It shouldn't have to be reoccurring a serious thought of how you would get out of a building in the event of a fire. But for me and for many others, it is. You can see rest assured on her son's welfare and safety, and see why she's, lacking trust and responsibility of the building that's not fit for purpose. The developer, Bettaway, who built the estate, said, Bettaway takes fire safety and development extremely serious and invested significant resources into addressing the issue. We fully appreciate at the heart of the issue is the need to ensure leaseholders and residents feel safe in their homes, and we're keen to make sure that we'll be doing all we can. At Macaroni, Bettaway is working closely with the stakeholders to consider the evidence set out in the latest EWSI reports and develop a workable remediation strategy that will increase the rating of the building from its current B2 rating. Following the latest E1 S1 reports, Bettaway found it interim measures to remove ACM cladding in key areas to negate the need for waking watch. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Proclamation News and Gatherence. I want to read you I read a little poem yesterday. It's not to anyone. Don't think otherwise. I just read a poem. I don't want you to think I'm falling in love or, not that it matters, but I'm not. I read a love poem yesterday. You might like it. You might like it. You might not. I'm a very prudent man. I don't, obviously, I'm not, I've got 4 years hard work ahead of me. I'm not destined to throw it away anytime yet. So a relationship I am not ready for. So don't take this, that is, it's destined for somebody. The poem of love is started with a kiss. To become tenaciously involved with love, you need a balanced chemistry with also some of the words above. Have you ever lent on reciprocal or amicable, which make it all that more manageable? In a relationship, you've got to be, in a relationship, you've got to have the hearted fire, full of lust and compassion, complete desire. When you're absent, the heart should grow fonder, as long as the mind doesn't begin to ponder. Some relationships both don't evolve within the same hobbies and interests, but with that in thought and the list above, your heart will grow and begin an interest. Hallelujah, praise God. That is my poem for the end of the show. Hope you enjoyed it. I just want to say God bless, take care, one love. I might even do a recording that poem if you do want to listen to that back on my Castbox somewhere. I'll do a recording of it later. I've got to go into the local constabulary. I'm going to get in the bus just shortly. I just want to say have a wonderful day, ladies and gents. Just remember, if you use your cognitive skills, you don't really need a massive wage packet. The best things in life are for free. Listening to the world go by sometimes, sitting in a park, getting complete escapism, reading a book in a park, or sitting on a train, listening to people's conversations. You could be on your own right now in this world. It's not the end of the world. I've got things to talk about. I come on Castbox, talk about my day. I can talk about what's going on in the media, things that people want to hear. Be confident in yourself. Be confident in yourself. I could be here for the next 10 years. I don't mind. I'm giving you something that I enjoy. So if I enjoy it, and you guys that listen in are enjoying it. We can only but build on that. This is my 3rd year, I believe, on Castbox. I'm just going to keep going, keep going. This is my forte. This is where it's like. This is where my life is ending. Not anytime soon, but this is what I want to get into even more. All the more broadcast, broadsheet, tabloid broadcast. I love it. You love it, I hope. Otherwise, you want to be part of listening. It's good for your men's rehabilitations. No, I don't want you to have men's rehabilitations, but it's good to make you not have men's rehabilitations. You're being both preserved and observant. It makes you part of the aristocracy social elite. Hallelujah. Praise God. In mind, in thought, in heart, in spirit, you will receive the godly gift. And whatever you want to achieve in life, if you work hard at it and believe in words, it's true. Keep working hard at it. Someone will soon pick up on your hard work and think, actually, this man deserves a chance, a good chance at life, or woman. Don't forget about the women. Don't leave women to the side just because we're men. They support feminism straight down the middle. I want to help inequality straight down the middle. Would you give a poor man a helping hand if he fell over? Of course you would. So be kind, be sweet, and act like a gentleman. Help others that need help when you can. I stuck a fiver, my first fiver. I never had money on me. I stuck my last fiver in the tips at the church. For a simple fact, I remember I was growing up. We used to have unnecessary money. We used to live at your parents. We used to have money we'd go and spend. Not necessity, we go down the pub, waste our money. If I had 500 quid now, or 300 quid, I go and buy loads of artwork. That's what I do. I buy picture frames, prints of my good art, and stick it in big picture frames. And hopefully one day I'll have enough artwork to do a exhibition, make some money, and hopefully give a big majority of it to. I've got a disabled son that I haven't seen in 11 years. I want to give him some, and I want to give some to the food bank. These people helping out others, it's really, really good. I've worked in food bank. I've worked in a homeless shelter. I've seen the worst deprived people in many Hertfordshire constituency. It's a shame to see how people end up, but sometimes it's mind taking over mentality. Sometimes mind taking over mentality. You see these alcoholics, you think, why has he got there? We're not in their shoes. We can't answer that question. We don't know what why their mentality has deteriorated. But if you've got everyone, you do get people, so many hatred people that don't want to help you up. There's not many avenues you go down for support. People just kick you when you're down and don't help you up. Your friends, sometimes your family. And there's no way out. You just think the only life resort left now is alcohol. So you don't know what these people are going for. I don't know if that is the reason, but it could be something a bit more undrastic as that. But anyway, have a wonderful day, guys. I need to get the next bus into town. Another thing I'd like to address, non-essential trips. Try and cut public transport, especially to town, into town centres, city centres. Get the bus. Get the bus. Why do you need to take your car? You don't need to put things in your boot. If you need something that's big or needs, involves not, carrying, but you don't want to carry it to the car, you can't carry it on the bus, get it delivery. Get it delivered. Get it delivered. If you're going to get a TV or a big wardrobe, get it delivered. If there's no delivery service, you're going to have to get a taxi if you're not that far away from the town centre. But try and avoid non-essential shops. We see, is it C7 a commission zone for 250? We need to start making changes. Let's make change now. Make change now. It's non-essential trips to town. Why do it? Let's not do it. Anyway, I'm off. God bless. Take care. One love. Speak soon. It's a brilliant show. I enjoyed it. Brilliant show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you ever so much for a wonderful